Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another RPG News Roundup, this time for October 5th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the news in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing games and bring you the highlights. As always, I'll start with computer and console role-playing game news. Astlibra Gaiden, The Cave of Phantom Mist, is set to release on the Nintendo Switch. It'll hit on October 17th. Originally a DLC to another game, it is now a fully standalone title. It does feature a separate story from the main game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate is supposedly going to be a roguelike that'll release on November 6th on the PC. It has been available on Apple Arcade since last year and the Switch since earlier of this one. I don't know how much of an RPG this one is, I haven't looked at it, but hey, it's a roguelike, so people like those. Neon Blood is set to release on November 26th. It'll hit the PS4, PS5, Xbox, Switch, as well as the PC. Set in the near future, after a war transformed the world, it has you playing a former police detective looking to uncover a plot of corruption that plagues the city. Apparently, Lies of P will not only have a DLC, but has a sequel in the works now. The DLC has been in development for a while, but had been delayed due to summer heat in South Korea. As somebody who lives in South Texas, I can easily see how a hot summer can seriously impact the ability to work on things even if you do have AC. Then Avatar, The Last Airbender is getting a new action RPG. It'll tell a new story within the setting, but more details are yet to come. Scourge of the Reptiles was announced. It'll be a party-based tactical RPG within a prehistoric fantasy world where humans, elves, and dinosaurs are gifted with magical abilities. As far as actual releases go, Shattered Space saw its release. It is the expansion to Starfield. It expands the story with a power-stirring in House of Va'ruun's homeworld, and you get new planets, some new weapons, spacesuits, gear, and so forth. Monomyth hit early access. It's an immersive first-person dungeon crawler semi-RPG inspired by it's a simulation RPG inspired by some pretty classic titles such as Underworld, things like that. Spellforce Conquest of AO saw its DLC Weaver's Realm release. It features a new Magic of Dreams as well as associated hero and other material. Theria was released. It is a turn-based RPG that has been in early access since early this year. It's set in a cursed village and features a procedurally generated map. Rogue Waters is a pirate tactical turn-based roguelike where you play a captain commanding your ship and crew through procedurally generated encounters. Shards of the Realms was released. It is a turn-based RPG with an open world where you manage a party of heroes and build your own fortress. I should note it was supposed to enter into early access, but it was accidentally released as full, so yes, it's still under development, just keep that in mind. Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream is an action RPG based on the Sword Art Online world where you can pick from various Sword Art Online characters and team up with up to 20 players for raids. Wizard of Legend 2 is an action roguelike similar to the first one, but with new 3D visuals where you master various arcane spells and combine them to basically play the game. Tarnished Blood is an action roguelike where you search areas, explore areas, slay beasts, harvest their essence, and look into serving an ancient protector tree. Tenebris, Terra Incognito hit early access. It is a turn-based tactical RPG where you explore a harsh planet filled with terrifying monsters. Banquet for Fools is a party-based action-adventure RPG in early access where you look for the secret of a mysterious abandoned village. Silence of the Siren is a turn-based sci-fi strategy RPG that basically looks like a Heroes of Might and Magic inspired game except with sci-fi elements. Neat. Finally, there's Gnomes and Knights, a dark fantasy first-person RPG where you play a knight looking to hunt gnomes. Honestly, wouldn't have included it, but the title's hilarious. And onwards towards tabletop RPG news. It looks like Mongoose Publishing is following up on the acquisition of Traveller to pick up Twilight 2000 as well as 2300 AD. Twilight 2000 was originally published in 1984 as a post-apocalyptic game after World War III, whereas 2300 AD, originally Traveller 2300, is set 3 centuries after humankind recovered from the war and is now exploring space. Although the IP has been acquired by Mongoose, Free League is currently still producing Twilight 2000, and there are no plans to change that arrangement. Candela Obscura is set to get its official adventure book in 2025. The new adventure book will feature 8 assignments and will come with a standalone edition as well as a premium edition that contains maps, props, art cards, etc. It looks like they'll both hit sometime in February. There will be a Voltron RPG coming out. Catalyst Game Labs will be putting it out as a Kickstarter at some point. I will, of course, cover the Kickstarter. It looks like it goes live next week. Onward Towards Minor and PDF releases, Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep is a collection of minor household magics available in Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition as well as Starfinder and 5th edition formats. Elven has a trio of 5th edition adventures suited for one-shots or new players, or new groups in general. There is Orc Raiders, Shrine of Illyriath, as well as Willowbrook Cave. Then, Kelphasil's Tales has a number of items out. Most are adventures for 5th edition. There is Tales of Undeath, Spirit Call, Tear of Death, Temple in the Clouds, The Collector, and A Touch of Fae. They also have side quests packs. There's 4 of them, 1 to 4, which offer various side quests in each one for 5th edition. Dragonix Books has Dragonix's Deadly Dungeons. There's a Wrath of the Nightshade and The Terrors Below, each one designed for 5th edition. And Publishing has High Level Adventures, a collection of 5th edition adventures for characters of levels 10 to 16. It's exactly what it says, a collection of 5 adventures for high-level characters in 5th edition. Jaws from Adventure Ripples is a 5th edition adventure revolving around a coastal town dealing with suspected attacks from a megalodon. The Pumpkin King's Curse is a 5th edition adventure dealing with a small town near the land of the Fae, where there are some reports of a demon in the woods and an invasion of plant-like creatures. Angels and Demons is a 5th edition one-shot for level 15 player characters that deals with factions of angels and demons. Death Walks the Hills is a 5th edition module, first in a 3-part series. This one deals with a sleepy village that has been beset with strange happenings and nightmarish disappearances. Sea Bark is a seaside duet adventure for 5th edition, a low-combat adventure that takes place in a cozy town with a solid 12 hours of content. Relics and Realms, issue 11, Moravia, offers an adventure for 5th edition set in a haunted land stuck in perpetual twilight. Terra RPG has a number of items out. There are 3 introductions to various planes, technically system neutral, but can be used with 5th edition. There's Introduction to the Shadow Plane, Introduction to the Fairy Plane, and Introduction to the Ethereal Plane. They also have a couple entries into their continuing class compendium series, this time absolutely set for 5th edition. There's the Paladin and the Monk compendiums. Tome of Terror is a bundle of gaming brew material for 5th edition that collects various spooky player options. Pickpocketing Expanded is a 5th edition rule set that offers new rules, approaches, and consequences for pickpocketing, along with various loot tables for various levels of wealth. Tales of the Valiant Game Master's Guide is available as a PDF and offers world-building information dealing with social exploration and combat encounters, how to homebrew original monsters, and so forth. Basically a Game Master's Guide, what do you expect? Game Trade Magazine number 296 is available on DriveThruRPG. I don't think I've seen this particular series up there, but apparently it's a very classic gaming magazine, so now it's coming to DriveThruRPG. It's a just general gaming magazine, tabletop gaming, that sort of thing. SideQuest issue 37 is part of a ongoing monthly RPG magazine with 5th edition material. This one offers a new location for called Greystone. There's a vault with new magic items and so forth. Then there's a D12 monthly that offers information on hag covens, witches familiars, and various night visitors for any fantasy role-playing game. You know, 'tis the season and all that. Shadow Chalt Volume 1 is part of a new series of Chalt adventures, this time designed for Shadow Dark systems. This one takes place in a forest rather than the usual desert of Chalt. I mean, if you can't beat them, join them. Perils of Portal Lake Setting Guide is an OSR-compatible guide for a mouse-sized world of adventure where the party is transformed into mice and must deal with things from a new angle. The Price of Apocrypha is suited for any fantasy RPG from 5th edition to OSR and deals with a city where an arena is beginning to open but an unexpected change has been made to its lineup. Dark Seas is a bestiary of sea creatures for OSR systems that presents 50 marine creatures. Into Castle Duckenstein is a Halloween horror adventure for Dragonbane that deals with attempting to enter a castle to retrieve 24 townsfolk that were all captured, and you must do it in one night. Ys, Age of Heroes is an RPG based on the classic Falcom series. It is has a bunch of official Falcom art, various lore, and so forth direct from the setting. Medieval Tales is a fantasy RPG set in 15th century France with superstition, fairy tales, and such are real. There is a core book, the Bestiarium Vocabulum, which covers the various monsters and NPCs with associated folklore and fairy tales, and the Grand Grimoire, which covers the magic. Princes of Midnight, gotta love the voice to text. Princes of Midnight is a cooperative narrative RPG about a group of the damned who have to fulfill their orders from their Dark Master. It uses a D6 dice-based system based on the Trophy Gold system. Eternal Forge, the Book of Magic, is a companion to the Eternal Forge role-playing game system. It offers various rules, gameplay tips, and other information dealing with magic. CAD's Codex is for the Gestalt RPG. It offers new base classes, support classes, and new lineage feats, honors, weapons, poisons, traps, spells, and class options. Chamomile Has Adventures has a couple of unique offerings. There is Stranger Company, a fate-based Weird West tabletop RPG of undead cowboys, demonic rail barons, and so forth. Then there's also Scoundrels, which is a rules-light standalone RPG of smugglers, thieves, and bounty hunters in a sci-fi setting. Brinksmanship is a scenario for Cthulhu Awakens, where a CIA outpost in Turkey has gone silent, and you're recruited to investigate why the communications are down. Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition is a set of stories out. Not sure if these are like one-shot adventures or just background fiction or a mix thereof, because it's not entirely clear. There is Last Dalton Reynolds, A Taste of the Moon, The Primogen's Gambit, and the Book of Nod Apocrypha. Total Party Skills has a Total Party System and Romantic Adventure Handbook offering new rules, skills, abilities for all the Total Party Skills games. Nightbound is a Powered by the Apocalypse RPG where the veil between worlds is thinned and yet you walk the line between light and shadow. Free League has the Electric State RPG based on the art book of the Electric State by Simon Stalenag. There is supposedly a movie coming out based on that art book, so, this should get some traction. Catalyst Game Labs has Battletech Universe, which offers a variety of lore for the various factions of the Inner Sphere and the clans and the periphery. Finally, a Black Oath Entertainment has yet another new offering, this time Salvage and Sorcery Scrap Hounds of Cygnus, where you play a salvager working aboard a giant pile of junk known as Thanatos Station. It has a mix of elements of grimdark sci-fi, etherpunk, and science fantasy, with squad-focused gameplay, a fast, simple gameplay system, and so forth. They always put out good stuff. With that, I'll move on to crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product. Mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. And this time, a few computer and console campaigns caught my eye. There is Runevale, which will be a fantasy RPG for PC and console, and be a dark isometric style RPG blending classic medieval themes with low poly stylized aesthetic. Awaken Infinity will be a top-down RPG with elements from visual novels. There is a demo available on Steam. Levanium, The Rising Suns, will be an RPG with Metroidvania elements where you extract resources, craft items, and run various shops. Looks like Merc Berg is getting a official video game called Heresy Supreme. It looks like it'll have elements of side-scrolling gameplay with graphic style inspired by the tabletop game, an unforgiving combat system, and action RPG elements. Onwards towards tabletop campaigns, Adventures in Maxur, Sickness in the Swamp will be a 5th edition adventure where you would investigate a mysterious illness in a swamp. Servants of the Mimic Queen will be a 5th edition tabletop RPG campaign, taking characters from levels 3 to 10, and it'd be full of deadly mimics and various secrets. Pumpkins and Phantoms will be a 5th edition revised style campaign setting. It'll be a 5th edition Halloween event, not a campaign setting. It will have a main adventure with over 70 spooky extras from monsters to items, feats, side quests, and more. Helle, a Gateway to Adventure, will be a 5th edition and 5th edition revised style campaign setting dealing with a coastal town. That one is a campaign setting. The Siege of Zephyr Palace will be the third and final part of the Sands of Low Forest trilogy from 5th edition. It is 5th edition compatible. It is a desert-themed 5th edition campaign. The Cacophonies will be a musical adventure for 5th edition with a focus on humor, where you are tasked with gathering 6 lost soul shards to lay to rest your overworked and tired employer. Grave Robber's Guide to Ghouls and Ghosts will be a collection of 5th edition material, including various new subclasses, monsters, various new spells, magic items, and more dealing with horror and necromancy. Then D'Artagnan's Lycanthrope Survival Guide will be another 5th edition supplement, this one dealing with lycanthropes. Grim Subclasses will be a collection of 3 slasher-inspired subclasses for 5th edition. It certainly is October, isn't it? Grim Hollow Transformed will be a collection of various subclasses, magic items, transformations, and horror suited for the 2024 edition of 5th edition. A Tomb of Ether and Iron will be a 5th edition and 5th edition 2024 compendium of innovations for arcane punk settings, including everything from adventure modules for levels 1 to 13, mechanics for surviving the arcane expanse, a new notoriety system, various classes, subclasses, rates, feats, background spells, monsters, magic items, and more. Epic NPCs will be a collection of 50-plus unique characters for 5th edition, fully fleshed out with detailed stats, backstories, motivations, and so forth. Villains Unleashed will be a guide to designing new, nasty, believable, and impressive villains for both D&D and other tabletop RPGs. Invaders from Beyond will be a sci-fi 5th edition one-shot with a sort of classic UFO feel. Secrets Of the Whispering God will be a level 1 fantasy city adventure for Dungeon Crawl Classics inspired by Golden Age Sword and Sorcery. The Sorcerer's Return will be a grimdark dungeon crawl classic RPG zine, a grimdark dungeon crawl classics RPG zine for first level characters dealing with being summoned to a sorcerer's villa after he was killed weeks ago by the dead sorcerer. Dark Vermin Shadow Dark Edition will be a monster book with a focus on monstrous vermin. It will also have a mini adventure involved. The Ruins of Castle Gygar is a mega dungeon for old school RPGs. This one looks to be a cleaned up Dungeon 23 project. I'd clean up mine and put it out. There's a lot of them doing it, but I don't think mine was very good. You can look at it for free. There's a link on my YouTube site somewhere. Traditions from Beyond the Veil will be a rule supplement for Dragon Bane that offers third-party rules with player options for characters, a chapter on alchemy, mechanics, and so forth. 100 Magical Mishaps will be a set of 100 different magical misfires for pretty much any fantasy system that has magic for when things go completely wrong. Dragon Slayer will be the second printing of the Dragon Slayer fantasy RPG, although I say there's like 3 or 4 different RPGs that are called Dragon Slayer, and this does not look like the one that I want a version of. This looks like another one, but, you know, take it as you will. The Broken Empires will be a dramatic fantasy sim-light RPG with a success level system built for speed and a focus on choices in an open world. Strange Bedfellows will be an urban campaign of intrigue, politics for the Age of Ambition RPG that will deal with civil unrest and trying to stop it. Deadlands will be looking to fund Abominable Northwest for the Savage Worlds system, as well as a graphic novel and boxed campaign for the same. There is Savage Charlie Foxtrot, a compilation of one-shot adventures or Savage Worlds, Savage Battle Lords, and Classic Battle Lords systems. Curseborn will be an RPG where you play an accursed descendant of a monstrous lineage in a modern urban world. Play Easily Now looks to be a modular tabletop generic RPG system built for young adults and novices to RPGs, meant to be easy to teach, fast to learn with, and an ability to grow in strategy. Finally, there is Nietzsche's Demon for Mothership First Edition, where you wake up from cryo sleep to find that the alarms have gone off, the captain's cryopod is empty, and the ship is not where it should be. And on that, I will wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG News Roundup for October 5th, 2024. As always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment on your feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.